So looking at the arc tool in terms of where we go, going up to sketch, we need to select our plane. Let's go for the top plane this time. Let's click N to go normal to. Let's rotate it around. So right mouse button, rotate it around, then click N again, and that gives it a bit of a better orientation. And then we're going to click on P to hide the planes. So up here we have got our arc selections. Let's go for the 3-point arc to start with. Very, very basic, as it says. We click once, let go of the button, drag the mouse out, click again, let go of the button, and we can move this up and down to a radius that we like the look of. So let's go for 30, and now that is just floating in mid-air. As you can see, we can move this around. It is going to change the size of the arc because it is not constrained at all. So what we could do is we could say we want this, this, and this to all be horizontal. So they're going horizontal across the page. And then maybe they're going to stay. I'm going to just drag and snap this middle point to there. And then all that's going to happen is it can go side to side because it didn't actually snap effectively. So if I go back and click here and snap that down, there we go, that's better. Okay, that is now all black. We've got that arc. Other options we have got are the tangent arc. So first I need to draw a line. So let's say I've got a midpoint going vertically like so. In terms of the distance, let's make it 130 with the auto dimension feature. And let's go back up to here to our tangent arc. I could click on this line and I could drag, and it's going to give me an arc that is tangent. So if I click again, this point here is tangent to this line. Tangent means drawing the straight line, it's going to start in a perfect position in terms of vertically, and then it's going to curve off. So you have a feature that has a really smooth intersect here. If I was to just do a normal arc off there, it could go off at a random angle, which is not good. So again, we can get this constrained. So potentially, I want to do exactly the same thing, and I'm going to make these two here horizontal. And the only thing that can happen now, so if you think about it, it can go side to side. So maybe we want to get the dimension and dimension this radius, and let's make it 15. And now we have a fully dimensioned tangent arc. A couple more, we've got the center point arc. So you click once and you basically get the center of a circle. Okay, so any size you want, I can click again and then I can drag my mouse around and it's going to allow me to have a arc. So a better point of using this would be maybe we want to down the base here, click on this point, drag our circle out from horizontal, and then I'm going to get a nice 90-degree arc like so. I could make my arc 30 in radius, and now that is very quickly dimensioned because it's horizontal there and vertical here. The next option we've got is the elliptical arc. Exactly the same thing. I'm going to take this point, I'm going to drag out for my ellipse. Let's go horizontal here, and then I can basically start, depending on how wide I want it to be, my next part of the arc. So if I was to say I want it to be roughly this wide, I can drag around, and then we have got our arc. So let's make that vertical there. At the moment, let's get this dimension at 130 for the radius, and potentially this is the only thing that's really kind of moving. So I could move this down to here, and I could get, let's click on this, and let's make this horizontal, and let's make this one that is already constrained vertical. So the only way it's going to move is up and down. So in terms of, we maybe want to constrain that by dragging it to it, and that is now fully constrained. And you could say we're starting to build part of an egg shape there. I could close that off and have an egg, which is quite good. And then finally the conic shape for the arc. Now conic is basically just a cone. So I click once, I can click again, and then I've got this top point here that I can move around, and it's starting a cone shape. So if I was to say make this 0.6 row, I could then also dimension this and say I want this and this to be horizontal. And then in terms of this point here, this is kind of floating in space, and these are also floating in space. So maybe I want to connect this one to stop that from floating in space. This can go side to side. So I could dimension this from here to here, and we're going to say that this is 70 with the auto select. And the only thing that is left is this point. Okay, so in terms of where I want it to be, completely up to you. Maybe we're going to have this off to one side. So I could say I'm going to dimension, in fact, let's have this and this vertical above each other. And then the only thing is the distance up and down. So we get our dimension tool here, and say we want this to be 60, and then we've got a kind of random cone shape like so. So that is your arc tool. Quite a few different options there. You can be quite creative with how you use it.